So welcome to lesson 2 of From Reading to Writing. Last week we actually just got on in and got started with the reader's active role and how the reader can stay active. So today we're just going to go deeper into that logic and perspective, and we're going to talk about marginal annotations. So as a review, we're going to look about readers' active roles. So the reader's active role, remember, is the intellectual exchange that begins when we react to what we read. So we need to react to what we read, which will help us become better reactors and better readers. If we read without thought, we are only accepting empty phrases. So basically, we're only taking in and we're absorbing pretty much nothing with meaning. So nothing with feeling, nothing with meaning. Again, empty phrases. And those empty phrases won't affect our thinking or lead us to say anything new. They're empty. They don't have anything with them whatsoever. So if we don't read with action, we're just quote unquote letting it in our eyes and out the other. So if you've heard the expression in the ear and out the other, it's in the eyes and out the brain. So we need to stay active and react to what we read. Otherwise, we're just pretending to read. We're just pretending and kind of fooling ourselves. Because if we're doing this for an assignment, and we have to write, let's say, a book report or response, and you need to work on, and you don't want to, and you just say, oh yeah, I just read the back of the book, I had someone email it to me, you're only cheating in yourself. If you don't react, you're only cheating yourself. You really are only cheating yourself. So some exciting things to read about. So some things, experiences we can relate to. Those excite our minds. If we're interested, but the most important thing is we need to be interested in what we're doing. So basically, we need to pay attention to our personal reactions. Paying attention to what our brain is processing and what our brain is thinking about and doing, so we can react and process and think about it. Really thinking about putting it through. So we need to find books that are interesting and of the right difficulty. If you're reading picture books, hopefully you aren't. If you're reading like college textbooks, hopefully you aren't either. You need to find books of the right level of difficulty. Now, sometimes books that are harder, a little harder or a little easier can help, but try to find books that are somewhat at the okay level of difficulty. To you, not to your friends, to you. And I want you to relax during this. I want you just to think about just reading and paying attention to yourself. Again, part of our review, I thought, was to review the format of our video lessons we're going to review. So that's what this is and what we did a couple minutes ago. We're going to talk about the lesson. We're going to go over the assignments. I don't have a summary today, I don't believe, but we're going to go over a summary. And then, yeah. So today we're talking about marginal annotations, and this is going to be part 1, so there's also part 2. So there are about 6 or 7 things I want to talk about marginal annotations. And marginal annotations help us sort our reactions, talking or writing. So we're looking here at marginal annotations, and I have in my notes, the way to begin sorting your first reactions to your reading is to put them into words, either by talking or by writing. The problem is to find someone you can trust with these contradictory, half-formed thoughts. Hopefully you aren't coming out with sentences after what you read. As you struggle to find words to express your dim intuitions, you should not worry about whether what you are saying is right or wrong, or whether it is elegantly expressed or not. It doesn't have to be descriptive. It doesn't have to be stocked with detail like someone's going to grade it. No one's going to grade it. It needs to be things that make sense to you. To whom you can speak or write without committing yourself permanently to your unconnected fragments of reactions and your rambling journeys to nowhere. So it's saying, who can you do that with? Sometimes a friend will let you talk about things without making you defend a tentative assumption. But you would need someone with sufficient patience, and that's not something you find every day. So basically, after all that rambling I did, it's basically that marginal annotations help you sort your reactions by talking or writing. So don't worry about being right or wrong. Focus on what makes sense to you. Focus on what helps you process your thoughts and what helps you process your ideas and emotions and feelings and reactions to the book. So confide in yourself. You can confide in yourself by leaving notes in the margins. Okay? So you may not always have a friend in handy. A more realistic practice is to confide in yourself, writing down your thoughts, reactions, and questions as they occur to you in the margin of your book next to the passage that triggered the response. So when you confide in yourself, you're leaving notes in the margins. You're confiding in yourself. You aren't asking a friend to donate time. You aren't asking a parent to hear you ramble. You're confiding in yourself, and you're kind of processing things through yourself. You write them in the margins next to the book. And I just want you to flow it out. Just let it come all out. And you also want to make your mark. So don't just mark all over the book. Make your mark. So there's two types of ways you can do this. You can do this after, you can start writing after you find a passage that's maybe good. You can also do this with a pencil ready in hand. So hopefully you do the pencil one. So with pencil in hand, get ready to comment on your reading. And I recommend two different types of comments. And the first one is to help you understand the meaning of the text. Something to help you understand the meaning, the virtual meaning, the passage's point, the passage's purpose. Something to help you understand the meaning of the text. So if you don't understand the phrase, in one year not the next, you can be like, the thoughts, you can write in the margins, the thoughts come in, you hear them, but then they come back out. Second one is to express your reactions. Things you can associate with, things you evaluate with. So basically I would group the second one into connections. So you hear me mention connections a lot. Make your mark. There are no rules to how you annotate. There's no rules to how you feel like you should annotate, how you should feel like you should perhaps do things. It works the best that way. It really does. So hopefully I have some placings that I have found easy when I teach my college students, when I teach, and what I do. So if you put comments on the meaning of the passage, so in one year out the next, in the inside of the book. So if you imagine your book, and there's one on this side, and there's one on this side, one page on that side, right? And then there's text here, but there's always supposed to be a margin. You should write it on the inner margin, so this part. And then comments on the outer top, plus this part, and this part. Are for connections, associations. So you have a lot more room, as you can see, for associations and comments and evaluations, because those come to our brain better. So that's hopefully helpful. So inner is going to be meaning. Outer, top, and bottom are for connections. So that wraps up our lesson. This is probably the longest lesson I've probably given so far. Your assignments to continue watching this video lesson. I want you to reflect on your work for last lesson. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate. So it'll go something along the lines of, something along the lines of, last week I read the first chapter of A Night to Remember. I think I did a pretty good job of being active. Something along the lines of that. And then you can say stuff that you thought you maybe didn't do so well on, or things you could improve. And then I want you to reread chapter 1. Just read it all over again with marginal annotations. So make marginal annotations with them. You will be scanning your pages. If you don't have a library book, if you would like to Xerox it and then write it there, or if you don't have your book, if you could email me and I could help you with ideas, that would work too. But you will be scanning your pages, hopefully, with notes. If you have a library book, you can put them in Post-its or sticky notes, and then I want you to submit your progress report. So that concludes lesson 1. Let's just say lesson 2 of From Reading to Writing. I'm sorry this is such a long lesson. Marginal annotations are so important. And stay tuned for marginal annotations part